Welcome to Walks in Time, a podcast designed to help you experience a day in the life of someone else. Today you'll put yourself in the shoes of Barbara Wilberforce, the wife of British transatlantic slave trade abolitionist William Wilberforce. The year is 1820. You are 48 years old. Your household consists of you, your husband William, and your 5 youngest children. Walk a while and find out what it may have been like to be in Barbara's shoes. You awake to the comforting smell of the open fire in your bedroom, which your husband William, as usual, has lit for you before his morning devotion and prayer time. You pull on a light-coloured silk dress with a flounce near the hemline, button up the high neckline at the back, and put a shawl over the top for extra warmth. Your supple leather shoes click softly against the polished wooden floors as you cross the hallway. Your house, known as Gore House, is a 3-storey mansion set on 3 acres on the southern edge of Kensington Gardens in western central London. The interior of the house has pastel hues with gilded accents. One of the design features of your time was the repeated oval shapes in ceilings, architectural layouts and furniture. These features give your house a feel of elegance. Having come from the nobility and married into comfortable yet thoughtful society, you know yours is a fortunate existence, despite the many challenges your family has faced and is continuing to face. But you're aware that many suffer far worse challenges. Poverty is widespread, with many living in overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. The Industrial Revolution is gaining momentum, with many people, including young children, working in factories and workhouses. Your society is also one where many are trapped in injustice and inequality through no fault of their own, and disease and injuries further limit the lifespans, the life quality, and the opportunities of these people. As you walk through your house, you're greeted warmly by an unusual crew of beloved but substandard house servants. You and your soft-hearted husband William simply cannot move them on. They're more like aged family members than paid workers. As a result, your home is a place of affection, but has a reputation of being somewhat unorganised. You sit down to a breakfast of porridge, fresh bread and marmalade in your sunlit dining room. William, your husband of 23 years, joins you with a smile, taking a break from his study. At 61, his face is marked with the lines of many long, arduous hours of work, but the marks of joy and affection also show. Of his devotion to you and the 6 children you bore him, you have no doubt. You and William share a profound Christian faith which guides your lives and actions. It's not easy living out this faith and speaking out against injustices and what you consider to be immoral behaviours of your society. But you, William, and a host of other evangelical Christians are committed to this cause. William's sight is poor. It always has been, and his somewhat unkempt appearance gives this away. So you do what you can to straighten his cravat, waistcoat, tailored frock coat, and tidy his hair. Your youngest boys help by reading to their father before breakfast each morning. As William heads off on foot for his day's work, you hear the rhythmic clip-clop of various horse-drawn carriages and the strain of their wooden wheels, the calls of street vendors and distant market chatter. Although you enjoy a large, rambling property, your house is comfortingly close to the sounds of the street, giving you a sense of connection with the outside world. The well-off society you were born into expects that your home be the centre of your world. In your family and social circles, it's expected that women marry, and it's expected that wives concentrate on home life, to take the lead in raising and educating the children, to manage the household and the servants, and to care for the older generation or other family members who are ill. But your sphere is not completely confined to your household. Your house is a welcoming haven to its many visitors who enjoy your hospitality, as well as a safe place for exploring and debating ideas. Whether it's William's contemporaries in the Clapham sect, ministers, bishops, ex-slaves, peers or statesmen, there are always guests, and that brings with it joy, but also work. William has the utmost reverence for your role as a wife and mother in providing a peaceful, warming home that rekindles his spirits when he returns to it from his public duties. He also reveres the role you play in cultivating the family to be of sound mind and spirit. And he also dedicates as much time as he can to being with the family. So it's to this that you devote what strength you have. Your strength is, however, quite limited. A terrible bout of typhoid some 20 years ago, which very nearly ended your life, has impacted your ongoing health, making you susceptible to illness. Typhoid, a bacterial disease spread through poor sanitation, continues to be a very common disease in London, where many suffer poor health due to it. In the poorer parts of society, the sewage systems continue to be inadequate, with human waste piled up in courtyards, overflowing through the streets and into the Thames, which is a source of drinking water. The health outcomes for those infected includes intestinal damage, internal bleeding, neurological problems, heart inflammation, and the list goes on. The thick London air, heavy with coal smoke, exacerbates your respiratory troubles, but you've managed your symptoms so far. Your frequent trips to Bath are a lifeline for you and the family. Although you wholeheartedly support his work, William's work in advocacy causes strain for you and also for his own health. You remember the long, hard years that William devoted to bringing the slave trade abolition bill to Parliament. The strong objection, the ridicule, and yet the many long hours that William put into this cause, at a time when your children were young and your health so poor. Your home was a cocoon for yourself and the family during this time, a warm and peaceful refuge, where your fighter returned for rest and rekindling. You're grateful you were spared this direct opposition and criticism. It's now been 13 years since the Slave Trade Abolition Bill finally carried in British Parliament, abolishing the British transatlantic slave trade. But William and his fellow campaigners are still tireless in their efforts to gain public support to end slavery. There are many who still oppose William's work to abolish the slave trade and who still fight against the further ground William is trying to make to abolish slavery. The work has been slow and difficult and gruelling. Progress is not without its costs. But while many live lives of great injustice and cruelty as slaves, this cost is absolutely needed. As the day progresses, you have many chores to attend to for the boys' education and instruction, corralling your house servants to attend to their tasks, and reading and responding to the many letters that are delivered, including keeping in touch with your 3 adult children. Unlike so many other mothers, all of your sons and daughters survived the dangerous first few years. Almost every mother you know has been touched by the death of infants or young children. Death is an ever-present reality for everyone around you. Your children are a blessing, but you continue to have concerns for them and try to care for them as best as you can, now that you've made it through those first difficult years. Mostly you cannot wait to receive another letter with news from your family. But the news regarding your eldest, William, is not always happy. Recently you and your husband, William, needed to intervene on your son William's university studies. It's a great sorrow to you that your own child seems to live a life that lacks the discipline, morality, and consideration for others that you thought you and William had modelled so well. You feel somewhat at a loss for what you can do, but you constantly remember to pray for your son William and hope he will soon settle into married life so he can contribute to society. As you catch up on your correspondence, the scratch of the pen quill and the rustle of paper are comforting sounds, which signify to you the connections you maintain with loved ones despite the distances. There are also always letters thanking you and William for your generosity in supporting various social causes, reducing rent to make life easier for your tenants, and your giving to charities and mission work. You and William are both grateful to be in a position to be able to help others, so your giving is always done with joy. As the day winds down, you tend to your garden and harvest some fruit from your trees. When William returns, you all take a quiet walk through the gardens, where the cool night air is filled with the scent of jasmine and the sound of cricket's gentle chorus. You listen to the day's stories from each of your family members, and the beauty of the gardens and the soft voices and laughter around you bring you solace, reminding you that despite the challenges, each day brings progress and hope. As you retire for the night, you put on your long, straight, plain-cut cotton nightgown, nightcap and night jacket. The house settles into a peaceful silence. Flickering candlelight casts gentle shadows on the walls, and you drift off to sleep with the comforting knowledge that tomorrow will bring new opportunities and challenges. Your life, intertwined with William's, stands as a testament to the strength and resilience required to pursue a noble cause, and you face each day with grace and determination. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Walks in Time, where you've experienced what it may have been like to be in Barbara Wilberforce's shoes. Please join me for another episode of Walks in Time soon. Bye for now.